What's up, guys? It's Coach Jordan, back with another Coffee with Coach. Today, I'm going to be talking with you guys about what is in my training journal. So how do I track in my personal training journal? First off, start with the easy stuff. I use a Moleskine journal to write in. I've, over the years, used a lot of different types of paper and pen style journals. I've used electronic type journals too. It's just not for me with my training journal. But I choose to use a nicer journal for this because it makes the experience for me more pleasurable, which then makes it easy for me to be consistent with it. So I've used cheaper journals, smaller journals. The big thing that I would tell you to avoid, it's not that I'm telling you to go buy a Moleskine journal, but you need to avoid something that's going to fall apart on you over time. Because you got to think, this thing's going to wind up in your gym bag. It's going to get tossed around a lot. So if it's something that's like spiral bound and has terrible pages, they're probably going to start tearing on you, and you're going to start it's going to make it harder and harder for you to use it consistently as a good training journal. But I'd recommend getting a good journal that you actually enjoy opening and using. You like the line spacing. It's got enough space for you to write as much as you like to write. Personally, I like to be able to fit 2 days on one page. That's my rule, with plenty of room for notes, because that's my whole point of using a training journal. It's not just to write down what my workout was and what my reps were. It's actually to pay attention to what I felt like, what was going on with my day that day. I like to get a little more into the weeds with my training journal. I think that's where a lot of the value lies. So when I have enough space, make sure it's good quality. It's not going to fall apart on you. Make sure that you enjoy writing in it, and make sure you have a nice pen to go along with that. So that's that. It's out of the way. Now, I like to break my daily entries into 3 parts. So I have a pre-training session. I have the body, so where I actually track my exercises, sets and reps, and notes on the exercises for how that felt. And then I have a closing thoughts section just to kind of wrap things up. In my pre-training session, I want to include data that matters to me that I know tends to affect my training. So I want to be able to look back weeks prior, see why a workout went the way it went, and be able to see maybe why that went that way. So for me, that's tracking my sleep, what my body weight was that day, the time that I trained, so what time during the day did I train, and then how I felt subjectively and objectively, and then I like to monitor a couple daily habits too. So some quick notes on those. Sleep should be obvious. If you're not sleeping enough, training is really, really hard, and you should be backing off. Body weight, that helps me measure hydration for the day. That helps me measure, since I compete in a weight class in weightlifting, it helps me know where I'm actually at relative to that, and if I need to make any nutritional adjustments. Training time, if I'm training at a time frame that's not normal for me, my training time can shift daily, but if I'm training at an extremely late training time, I also want to note that, because that's usually going to wind up with me backing off a hair. And then as far as that feels section is concerned, I want to note my stress. Is my anxiety high? Am I dealing with a little bit of depression? Or am I just feeling really awesome today? Right? All of those things are relevant to my training day. Daily habit is just a nice way for me to put a little check mark by something I'm working on in my personal life. Maybe that's remembering to floss multiple times a day. Maybe that's remembering to fold the laundry before I leave the house. Maybe that's remembering to clean the kitchen before I leave the house. Just something that's like a personal habit that I can just kind of put that part of my life to rest while I'm in the gym. And just a nice way to stay on top of things. So then what I'm going to do to get into this second part is I'm going to write out my workout. So I'm going to go down below all this. I'm going to leave some space to write my daily focus, and then I'm going to write my workout out for the day. I'm going to get everything written out that I'm going to be doing, and then I'm going to choose what it is that I'm going to be focusing on that day. So if it's weightlifting, maybe I'm focusing on finishing my pull with my snatch. If it's a Metcon, maybe I'm focused on my pacing and how I'm going to transition between different types of movements, or how I'm going to break up some sets. I just want to get my mind right and focused on my training and off of the rest of my day, right? So once we're there, it's just a matter of taking notes and making sure that we're tracking what we actually did. So I like to keep a notes section at the very top that lets me kind of pay attention to how my warm-up went, or anything that might have happened between starting to write in my journal and my actual workout beginning. Okay, this is where I can say, hey, that warm-up was really good. It helped me, maybe I was feeling a little bit stiff. Now I'm not feeling stiff anymore. It should just be notes that are useful to you for your future information, right? And then I'm going to just make any notes on the exercises after I do them. So I've got my A exercise, so my first exercise of the day. A is the first letter of the alphabet. Should be pretty clear. So maybe that's going to be back squats, 5x5 at 400 pounds. And then I'm going to make notes on A. So what were my rest intervals like? Was I interrupted at all? Did everything feel like it moved fast, or did it feel like it moved really slow and was really difficult? All those things are super useful. Over time, you'll find things that are more relevant to you. And then from there, I can go B, whatever the next exercise is going to be. And then I'll put a notes section below that, so I have space to write any notes that are on that exercise. Again, if it's a Metcon, I can put notes at the top, A, write out the entire Metcon, and then leave a section for notes underneath that as well. So that's how I format the body of my journal. And then as far as the closing thoughts on today's section, I've already got my notes on my exercises, but this is more kind of like, how did today go? Was I happy with how I warmed up, and how the workout went from my warm-up all the way through the end of my workout? That's really how I want to kind of tie my day together, is in this closing thoughts on today section. It's also a great way to then shift your brain back into the rest of your day. Maybe you're training in the morning and now you got to focus on work. Maybe you can jot a couple things down to focus on for the rest of your day, just to kind of close your brain out of workout mode and back into your day. And maybe this is the end of your day. Maybe you want to write down a couple things you were grateful for from your day. These are all things that I've done before and found very useful. Just some thoughts on ways that you can take my method and make it a little bit more individualized for you. But so that's how I utilize my training journal. Hopefully you guys find that helpful and can transfer a couple of these things into your own personal journaling for your workouts. And hope you guys enjoyed that.